They say he stirs his coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. And they're right. We'll get started soon, but first, coffee. My Ethiopian is back. Oh, hot. Earthy, but not dirt. Yum. Just all around yum. What a great metaphor for life. Sometimes when you're away from the thing that you really love, when you finally get it, you appreciate it more. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. Let's get started. Would you ever think of taking the 100 box challenge, which means that everything you own can go into 100 boxes? Can you do that? Everything you own go into 100 boxes. Would you do the 100 box challenge in 2019 or 2020? Which means you're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff. Because you know when you die, strangers are going to be picking through your shit. People that love you will just take choice things. Half your stuff will end up in a dumpster. The other half will be at an auction somewhere or a Goodwill thrift store. The things that you hold precious, I don't understand. A man with a much younger woman on his arm is like a gal wearing 6-inch stilettos. They make her feel sexy and attractive at the club, but by 2 a.m. she's flinging them off and walking barefoot and just wants to walk naturally. It might work for a spell, but not permanently. 45% said yes. 39% said no. 16% said Nibiru. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. How do you resolve conflict with one another? How well do you travel together, for instance, as in being in the car together for 10 hours? There's not a lot of people telling their sons this. Imagine a partner that you're attracted to, but you can't relate to. What a prison that would be. The last thing I want to think about if I'm in an argument with my girl is how hot she is. That'll get you far. Hot really works well in arguments, doesn't it? Took a poll. Men marry a woman hoping that she will never change. Women marry a man hoping he will change. Is this true or not? All replies welcome. 67% said yes. 11% said no. 7% said Nibiru. 15% said Baba Booey. I posted a video I asked the question, can a mustache trim save a marriage? I had a client whose wife was hearing impaired, and she read his lips. He was growing his big beard out. The longer his stash got, the less she was able to see the words that his mouth was forming, and it became a point of contention for them. When I trimmed his mustache, she could see his mouth and see what he was communicating. So back to the question, can a mustache trim save a marriage? It did. If libertarians went to an island and started their own country, in 1 year there'd be several political parties, divorces, filled cemeteries, and dudes making rafts out of coconuts trying to get back to the United States. I'm a libertarian, a liberty-loving American. It's like people of a certain race can make fun of their race and use the slang associated with that race. As a freedom-loving libertarian, I can break libertarian balls if I want. So all of you little sensitive little nut jobs out there, it's almost like the manosphere. You've got balanced people right in the middle, then you've got your nut jobs. You have, in the United States, you have Democrat, Republican, Independent, and then within that independent thing is libertarians. But within that, there can be some real nut jobs. I'm not appealing to the nut jobs. Attention, the ski trip will be canceled due to snow. Last time I checked, you still have a lot of second chances stocked up. Pick yourself up, get back on the road. You didn't blow your second chance. You haven't even taken it yet. In an era of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. That's been attributed to George Orwell, on and off. Just like the men marry women hoping they'll never change was attributed to Albert Einstein. That was actually a joke when that first came out, so I no longer use Albert Einstein. If you Google that quote, you're going to see memes with Albert Einstein. He did not say that. Neither did George Orwell say this verbatim. It sounds very Orwellian, doesn't it? In an era of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Thought crimes. Verbal crimes. You know, you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded movie theater because it'll cause mass panic. But if you call a person who decided to change their sex by the sex that they don't that they no longer want to be associated with or change from, you can go to jail in California or Canada. And I'm not talking about making fun of the person. I'm talking about just telling the truth. Interesting where we've gotten. Did anyone ever see the movie Minority Report? Remember the Department of Pre-Crime? That's where we're getting. When I saw that, I thought, if you haven't seen the movie yet, please go see it, or pull it up, DVR it, Netflix it, whatever. Minority Report. It's with Tom Cruise. Very, very foretelling, prophetic. Ask the Sultan. Should I pluck unwanted hair in my nose, in my ears, or my cheekbones? I say it's better for a brother to wax or shave that hair. No plucking, because you don't want to be a brother plucker. When we meet again, introduced as friends, please don't let on that you knew me when I was hungry and it was your world. You fake just like a woman. You make just like a woman. Make love just like a woman. Then you ache just like a woman, but you break like a little girl. Bob Dylan, 1966. Check that song out. It's interesting. It's better to say, I don't know, but I can find out for you than, I don't know. Extremes. Let's just talk about extremes for a second. And purists. I like cream in my coffee with a little bit of sugar. Be a man, drink it black. I like dating women my own age because I feel I have nothing in common with young girls. You're not a real man. Every woman over 30 has hit the wall. Yeah, but Richard said, but Rollo said, but Anthony said. Let me give you the state of the Sultan sphere. There are things that I say that I own, take full ownership of. What people are not going to do is catch me contradicting my peers. It's not going to happen. To the point where people have actually said, yeah, but so-and-so said, I don't care what so-and-so said. I respect so-and-so. And so-and-so has my back, and I have their back. In the community of thought leaders and speakers and movers and shakers and teachers that I associate with, I don't agree with them 100%. They don't agree with me 100%. But we have each other's backs. I can assure you that. There's an inner circle of thought leaders, probably about 20 of us, that probably email back and forth in a private forum minimum 100 times a day amongst all of us. Keep each other sharp. Build each other up. And it's done in private, because what's done out and about isn't always the most edifying. So we keep, what's the word? My encouragement system is internal, and my auxiliary encouragement system is private. I don't get it from other people. If you look to other people for hope or encouragement, you're going to be let down. What you need to do is create your own internal locus of motivation, of control, of goals, of achievement. If you hang out with people who are going, first of all, if you're going in a certain direction, hang out with other people going in that direction. You'd be surprised how the crossover works. Their motivation will work with you, and your motivation will work with them. And it becomes a self-perpetuating encouragement system. But it's not about demeaning other people in any way. Everyone has their... What I don't do is I try not to criticize other people in the hair industry. They've got their own thing. They've got their own struggles. They've got their own victories and successes, and they have their own fan base. That's fantastic. I love how people have that. But when it comes right down to it, you die alone in your bed or a hospital bed. That's how it is. You don't have your peers with you. So if you don't create a rugged individualism, you're going to suffer eventually, somehow, some way. So you stay connected enough, but disconnected enough, whereas if SHTF, then you're able to operate. You can't place all of your hope in people or a person. You can't. I don't know what I would do without my encouragement system, my circle of friends, my prayer circle, what's going to happen when they're not there? Then what you've done, in effect, is trained yourself to die or to fail. Because I don't know what I would do without. Let me ask you that. If you were to write down that sentence, I don't know what I would do without, and then fill in the blank. What kind of things would you write? Because those things are temporary. All the things that you write are temporary. All of those things. That's why I say, be the stable stoic. Be the rugged individualist. I don't believe there's anything. I've come to this conclusion. I have a background in education and healthcare, 22 years. And I've given many, many psychological tests. I've administered many. And they try to narrow people down. And one of the most irritating things is the introvert-extrovert thing, which of course is Myers-Briggs. Not a huge fan. To me, that's a little bit horoscope-ish, if you ask me. I used to say I am a introvert with extrovert tendencies, which means I'm an ambivert. And I remember talking to a psychiatrist friend years ago, a psychiatrist who I worked with, who became a friend. And he said to me, he said, George, try to resist creating labels for yourself and for other people. He says, you have this need to kind of, like, put people in this, when people are much more flexible than what you think, and you are much more flexible than what you think. And I learned that probably 30 years ago. That was important. Big lesson. I would rather see you have your default mode, your Depeche Mode, your default mode be rugged individualism, surviving on your own. I remember someone I remember a guy that when his wife went away for a week, he ended up just microwaving everything because she was always cooking for him all the time. And when she wasn't there, he didn't know what to do in the kitchen. And his joke was, I can't even boil water. You should never, men, you should never, ever be in that position. That's why I love being single. That's why I love my individualist solitude. Love that. But when I get to spend time with people, it's a blessing. It's great. I love it. But solitude is my Ethiopian coffee. That's why we talked about relationship fasting. Is it starting to make sense to you? Why be joined at the hip, breathing each other's air? Yes, it's all romantic in the beginning. Someone had told me a long time ago, they gave me the book, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and in it he talks about marriage. And someone recently sent me an email with that. And I had seen that probably in 1986 or 87, maybe 88. Somewhere in there, maybe it was 87. And there was a line that says, let there be spaces in your togetherness. Relationship fasting, being apart, and then coming together and loving each other 100%. I think it's the same thing in your career pursuits, whether it be being a content creator. You need to get away and create a freshness. I used to do a show called Beards Without Borders. That would be, there's people who feel that way. They feel the same way about Beards Without Borders as some people do about the Daybreak show. They're very sentimental about it. But sometimes you just need to shake things up. Snow globe it a little bit. Shake it up. And I think that's what keeps us going in life. Think about all the stuff that you hoard in your life. Think about all the stuff you collect, not just physically, but emotionally. Isn't it time for a house cleaning? Get rid of the cobwebs and the junk that's been piling up, the emotions and the attitudes, the extreme attitudes. No more extremes. No more extremes, please. You're not doing yourself a favor. I would say especially you MGTOW guys. There's entire MGTOW channels. MGTOW is a tool, not a lifestyle. Like it or not. It's a nice place to visit, and it's necessary. And it just, for those of you that don't know, that just means men going their own way. They're sick and tired of women and all this. And female nature, I get that. I totally get that. But you're making yourself a weirdo by going, MGTOW, that's odd. It's odd. It's not the answer. It's a tool. And that's fine. In the same way, methadone might be a cure to help you get off of heroin. Going your own way is a nice tool to get you off of codependency of needing other people, number one. Because let's admit this, it's not always everybody else's fault. The answer, let me put it this way, because hypergamy is not the answer to everything when it comes to male-female relationships. Use MGTOW like a tool. Get away. Get away. When you want to come back, dip your toes back in the water, but with a new knowledge, a new wisdom, a new awareness. That's what men should do. And with that, I'm going to say, finish your coffee. Have a great day. I have to get to the salon. I have a very busy 3 days coming up. I have hesitated advertising and hustling for more business, but I am going to be seeking out some new customers for a VIP service, which will include male customers, which will include full waxing. And I'm not talking about effeminate stuff like getting the perfect eye. That's not the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about waxing the ears, nose, hard waxing the T-zone, like this. Pull that wax off. You don't know what a clean face is until you have that done. You don't know what a clean nostril rim is like until you've been hard waxed. Rather than trimming and trying to knock it off with a razor and all that kind of stuff. So I have a VIP service that I'm putting together, which is going to be kind of cool, and I'll announce that soon. What else on the agenda? The video that I posted last night of Nina Seidel. She wrote a book called Parenting for Life. The link for that book is below in the description part of the video. It's an important discussion, and I couldn't care less what you think of the 60-year-old woman who is a friend of mine. And of course, some smart asses always have to talk about, oh, she hit the wall. Your mama hit the wall. But your dad still loved her. So grow up. What else is on the agenda? Go back to 2019. Stay focused here. You want to get unstuck, sign up for my newsletter. Go to georgebruno.com. Sign up for the newsletter. I have some freebies coming and some premiums coming. And I'm also creating a channel membership here for those that want more exclusive membership benefits. I believe YouTube charges, I believe it's like $4.99 a month for channel membership here. And then of course there's other premiums that I'll be talking about as far as like ebooks and courses and that type of thing. And my speaking coaching as well. I'll be rolling that out pretty soon. where I can guarantee you that you will be speaking better in one weekend like you've never spoken before. I've worked with people and taken them from shy little things to people that are bold in speaking and have confidence. And when you speak well, you earn more. It's a fact. Finish your coffee. I'll see you tomorrow morning.